Okay, people, I'm back, and now what I like to work on, okay, all right, I'm back, and what I like to work on now is what I call a drill, which is from Iji Kimyo Ma, is a tight suck, the raising punch. So from Iji Kimyo Ma, Hoi 6, Sub G Sub, what we're going to do is we're going to basically sync with our palm strike. So it's going to be as if I'm doing a gum sao press, but I'm throwing the gum sao press, I'm throwing that palm down into the groin without shifting or moving. So I'm coming 1, raise up and hit, 2, raise up and hit, 3, raise up and hit, 4, raise up and hit, 5, raise up and hit, 6, raise up and hit, 7, raise up and hit, 8, 9, and 10. So this is basically, you see this in Silam Tower. In the beginning parts of the form, you see us compressing down here, shooting back, boom, and then into the groin. Okay, so in Hokusai Wei Kwen, what we're doing is basically rapidly compressing. It's a compression block. That's what I would refer to it as a compression block, which is more so speed with a downward compulsion of power. Boom. So this is usually used, like, let's say the guy throws a straight punch or a karate punch, or even if he tries to throw an uppercut into you, tries to throw like a Landau Chao Kin. So if I'm standing here and I see that rotation, that power coming, circular motion coming in, I'm going to counter circle it by bam, striking here. But instead of shifting into Choma, coming in, bam, and hitting here, I'm going to stay in Iji Kimyo Ma for the modularity and development, to develop the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist strike, and turning the palmar aspect of my hand into the strike. So you go 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2, 9, and 2, and 10, 2. Now, I want you to see how I turn now with my hips. I'm going to turn my hip a little bit, and I'm going to thrust down, and you're going to see the elongation of my shoulder, the deltoid, the tricep, the bicep stretching, and the compression and locking of the elbow. So that means anything coming in, bam, I'm hitting it right here, and then I'm raising up and striking. In order to generate more power right here, right in this area here, and I'm going to rob power from my opponent. That's called Jin Lick, stealing the energy. I'm going to come from here. I can start from the so-called Baizhong position. I come 1, strike, 2, and strike, 3, strike, 4, and strike, 5, strike, 6, strike, 7, strike, and 8, strike. Now, when you see me thrust down and then hit, okay, thrust down, I shift, you see I'm boom, and I hit, strike, and I hit, and I strike. So you can use this for a front kick, evasion, block the front kick, and then right away you just generate that power and you hit. So once you get the modularity of this technique, boom, hitting in, boom. What you can do is block and strike with that gum sao press coming down, and from here rising up and hit with the taisa, and then you see my other hand that's in Wu, I can come back and boom, shoot into the center line. I can recycle the repetition, come 1, 2, hit, 1, 2, hit, and 1, 2, hit. Now I can do that again on the opposite side. I can come 1, 2, hit, 1, 2, hit, and 1, 2, and hit. So the modularity, the simplicity of the technique is from that Yiji Kim Yo Ma mode, is from striking outward. You don't want to go straight down when you shift. Choma, wham! You want to meet it like right about 2 fists, 2 hands from the groin area, but you want to go straight down into the attack. So you go here, and then raise up here, and then shift the structure and bam, and hit here. Okay, and then again, from that modularity, you come 1, strike low, 2, strike high, bam, strike head high, or directly into the chest. So I want you to practice that, play with it, use an 8 repetition cycle or a 10 count repetition cycle. And repetition makes perfection, so what you should do is, don't worry about how fast you're doing it, just take your time, work on the modularity. Stay in Yiji Kim Yo Ma, 1, 2, hit, 1, 2, hit, and 1, 2, and hit. Then come back, 1, 2, hit, 1, 2, hit, and 1, 2, and hit. And you're gonna feel it in your elbows when you snap. You're gonna feel that whipping power. So that's another drill for you to work on. Again, in self-structure mode. Consider it a form of like shadow boxing. You can use a mirror, which I do at many occasions. I will use the mirror and reflect image to see as to how I'm moving, my positioning as to when I'm doing the drill. And again, you see how I'm shifting. I'm coming in, coming 1 and raise and hit, 2, raise and hit, raise and hit, raise and hit. So play with that. Get a taste, a feel for it, for the sake of a better word. See how you feel with that. If you have a friend, associate, or partner, you can practice that same drill in a 2-man structure, applied structure, by having your partner put on some shin guards if they wish. And then what they do is they'll stand there and they'll just keep, boom, using that front kick. And when that kick comes at you, you know, just come, set, hit. If it's the same leg, come back, set, hit, and set, hit. Your partner can hold a kicking hand shield, a hand mitt, which like I have one of these, you know. They would be holding that mitt for you so that when you raise up, they're on the receiving end with the mitt, pow, hitting the mitt. But again, we're going to get to that a little bit later when we talk about applied structure. Right now, I really would like for you to focus on your self-structure, like shadow boxing or ghost boxing, for the sake of a better word. Because again, due to the constrictions and restrictions that we have because of the COVID, you're not at luxury or have the ability to have a group engagement. And some people do, mind you, no disrespect intended. There are some people that will gather in groups of 5 or 6, and again, that's a decision you have to make on your own accord. But when doing so, you know, use proper protection so that nobody gets sick or contaminated with anything, because once you're sick and ill, you're out of commission, you can't practice. For the sake of argument, or just in discussion, this is what I do. This is how I've been training, keeping myself and my mindset, my spirit to coexist together with the perception of my martial arts skills in Wing Chun. So I want you to play with that and see how you feel, and see if you're gaining any knowledge or any worth of value from it. If not, well, with all respect, you know, you can discard it. You don't have to use it. But extending my knowledge outward to you. Okay, so I've covered certain drills from Yiji Kim Yo Ma. I want to go back into that position. Because again, Yiji Kim Yo Ma is the mother of all stances. It's very important in self-structure. So when we're here in this Yiji Kim Yo Ma position, and we're in self-structure, the Hoi Sik and the Sub Ji Sao, another one of the drills that I want to share with you is what I call whipping, the whipping punches. So whipping, it means you're doing what's called Hoi Fan Ku, inside whipping punch. And a way of acknowledging this or perfecting this is just standing like a boxer. You punch and you whip. You punch and you whip. So the Chung Kwan comes in, and I drop my hand in for the sake of modularity. I rotate in and I whip out. Punch, I whip out. So it's 1, whip, 2, whip, 3, whip, 4, whip, 5, whip, 6, whip, 7, whip, 8, whip. Now, you see that I'm staying loose. Don't stay all tightened up, bunched up, and constricted, because you're not going to appreciate the value of that transformation or the pivoting point from your elbow. Okay? Grandmaster Wing Chun emphasizes in traditional Wing Chun is when you're moving to always watch and focus your eyesight and your mindset on your opponent's elbow, because the elbow is going to move, probably 3,000 times slower than the fist. Keep in mind that this is the extension from the elbow to the fist. This is a pivot point, and this is the extension of that striking weapon that's going to be used against you. So, in the same respect, when you're using it to strike your opponent, you learn the modularity of how to intercept the technique, a punch, and then how to rapidly whip back and strike. Boom, whip. Now, you'll see boxers do this when they're on a speed bag. They're like on a bag here. They'll whip into it over and over. So when they hit it, boom, they're hitting it, boom, they're whipping into it. So that to get that modularity of rolling the hand. And there's 100 ways you can hit a speed bag, back fisting, like hitting it this way, hitting it this way. There's 100 ways, but right now, for the sake of defining the technique, let's work on the modularity within the self-structure. So when we punch, you punch and you whip. You punch and you whip. And if you notice what I'm doing with my feet, I'm also shifting the ma. So you can do that. That's positioning and pivoting into the cho ma. So I'm elongating and then I whip. I elongate and then I whip. I elongate, then I whip, and I elongate, and I whip. So it's 1, 2, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 1, 4. 1, 2, 1, 5. 1, 2, 1, 6. 1, 2, 1, 7. And 1, 2, and 1, 8. So you can go 8 times, you can go 10 times, it's up to you. But I just want you to see the modularity. After you strike in, or let's say he punches and you intercept with kun seo kun and you knock his punch inward offline, you can easily rotate in and back fist him. So you just go boom and bam and hit him. So it's a hit and a whip, a hit and a whip, a hit and a whip, and a hit and a whip. So that's Chung Kwan, Loi Fan Kun, Chung Kwan, and Loi Fan Kun. So work on that modularity, okay? And that's also done from Yiji Kim Yo Ma, striking and whipping, striking and whipping, striking and whipping, and striking and whipping. Thank you.